I talked with Coach Kenny today,
Okay.
which was yeah, man. He's I spoke with Calvin and a while back, and he had told me that he would want to stay away from Shakur, but Kenny was the opposite. He was like, I want to go right at Shakur. Like that's who we need to fight first.
Right. Yeah, they differ. They definitely differ on that.
Very different. I mean, we talk a lot, but I want to hear your thoughts on that division. Is obviously so much talent, but we're always getting hit with these roadblocks, these negotiation problems, all this stuff. I mean, who would you want to see? Let's say, and I'm including Matthias in this. So 5, right? Who would you want to see fight each other of all 5?
Out of Tank, Shakur, Frank Martin, Isaac Cruz, 135.
No. I'm combining 35 and 40 because to me, even though it's a different weight division, they're going to fight each. I mean, that's apples and oranges. So Tio, Devin, Tank, Matthias, and Shakur.
In reality, dealing with their situation that's already set, or just my personal preference.
Who you want to see?
Oh, I want to see Devin and Tank ASAP.
Okay.
I want to see. I never really thought about Shakur and Tio, to be honest.
No. Okay.
I don't know why, but I never equated the two. It just, I don't think anybody's ever thought about that, right? Nobody's really talked about Shakur fighting Teofimo Lopez. Like,
no, that's a good point. You never hear that one.
No, nobody really talks about that. And you know what's funny about it is that would do huge here in New York, because Tio's from Brooklyn, Shakur's from Newark, right across the bridge. They fight. Shakur sells out at what's the arena over there in Jersey?
The Prudential Center.
The Prudential Center. He sells out there. Tio does well at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, which is weird because although he's born in New York, he grew up in Florida.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, that would be a very good fight. I mean, nobody really ever talks about that. It's not even mentioned. But
no, you're right. So like you have your ear to these boxing streets a little more than most people. From all that you've heard and all that you know, and what fight of those 5, what do you think is realistically going to happen anytime soon?
Tank and Devin.
Really?
Yeah, I think pressure now. I think when the boxing world calls for a fight and you got 2 guys that have the confidence and the pride that they have, they're gonna fight.
Okay.
They're gonna fight. They're gonna come to an agreement. They're gonna fight.
And
when they're gonna fight is a whole nother question. But I believe that Tank is after this upcoming fight in March. I don't think nobody's gonna hold Tank back from making a fight.
From making a what? You're cutting out a little bit.
I said after his fight in March,
I
don't see nobody holding Tank back from making a Devin Haney fight.
Okay. Who's he fighting in March?
You heard me?
Yeah. Who's fighting in March?
You heard me?
Yeah, you heard something.
I said after Tank fights in March.
Huh? Who's he fighting in March?
After Tank fights it. Yeah, he's supposed to fight in March. So after Tank fight in March, I don't see nobody holding him back from fighting Devin
Haney. Okay. And how do you see that fight going?
I think Devin wins.
Decision, obviously, right?
Decision, yeah.
So
his intangibles, I've always said this. There's nothing new. His intangibles and his ring IQ and his ability to control the distance is what's going to get him to win.
Would you, and be honest, because I know you're mad close with Bill Haney and Devin. If you thought Devin would lose, would you say it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because
It's
it
still
gets
it's still a 50-50 fight.
to you. It's 50-50.
I'm not saying Tank can't win. I'm just telling you who I think will win.
Initially I would have disagreed with you, but after seeing Devin lately, I think he has a way. It's going to be close.
Yeah,
Because of this.
the thing is, it's just style matchups. From my standpoint, is style matchups. Being in around the sport of boxing and seeing certain styles against certain styles, Devin's style is all wrong for Tank.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
It's all wrong for him. Along with
And
the fact that he's so, and people, here's another thing that people get it misconstrued, but that's because they don't understand the sport of boxing. They talk about Devin's weight. He didn't use his weight to beat Regis Prograis.
No.
He wasn't bullying him with his weight. He used his technique, his skills, his ring IQ, his counter punch ability. That had nothing to do with his weight. Absolutely nothing to do with his weight.
And that whole weight bully thing could actually work against him because you drain yourself when you do that and you're weaker.
Exactly. But if you ask people to show them, if people talk about, man, it ain't fair for Tank. Devin weighed 165. Okay, so show me where he used his weight as an advantage over Regis Prograis.
Well, I think what they mean is somebody who's naturally a bigger frame can absorb punches better. And it's almost, what I'm saying? So that kind of thing.
But that goes out the window when you tell me that Tank knocks out heavyweights with headgear on their 16-ounce gloves.
That's true.
That goes out the window.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Not only that, Tank is considered the second biggest puncher, top 3 biggest punchers in boxing, right?
Yeah.
Deontay Wilder dropped Tyson Fury 4 times, and that man outweighed him by 50 pounds.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. And
not only that, another example, Artur Beterbiev has all knockouts. He's 5'11". He has a 73-inch arm reach. He's muscular. Caleb Smith is 6'3".
Yep.
A 78-inch arm reach, and is a way bigger frame than Artur Beterbiev.
Yep.
He knocked him out.
Yep.
Because weight and size had nothing to do with it. It's the delivery. It's the skill set.
Right. I mean,
Mike Tyson knocked out heavyweights that outweighed him by 40 pounds and 6 inches taller than him.
No. I mean, in heavyweights, I guess people think that once you're at heavyweight, it doesn't matter as much for some reason.
Which is the silliest thing in the world, because last time I checked, we all human beings.
Yeah. That's why they're trying to argue and push for a super heavyweight class.
Right. And then you think about this, right? You have cruiserweights like Evander Holyfield come out and knock out heavyweights. Size it's how you deliver the punch.
Right.
And on the flip side of that, Alexander Usyk, he weighs 225 pounds at 6'3". He beat Joshua back-to-back, 6'6", 250.
Yeah. And Usyk's probably not naturally 225.
No. He's a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
It goes back to skill, but if you let inexperienced casuals speak on this situation, the fans don't know. They just listen to what everybody says. It becomes a narrative. It sounds good. It fits in place. And you say, yeah, well, he's going to. Another thing, false narrative is they say that, well, Devin is going to weigh 165 and Tank going to weigh 140. In what world? So Tank is not going to gain a single pound.
Right, exactly.
That don't even make sense.
I think you're right. Mostly, I think there are times like when De La Hoya was at 135 and then coming in on fight night at like 150, 160. I think sometimes that weight and size advantage can be advantageous because you're absorbing punches better, and you're just a bigger guy, a bigger frame, more reach, and all that. So sometimes it can be, but sometimes it's not.
But even this though, when you say with Oscar De La Hoya, you got to think about this. When did Oscar De La Hoya actually use his size?
I guess
Now, if I can absorb the punches, right?
Yeah.
If you're a big puncher and you can box, me absorbing the punches have nothing to do with it. Because Canelo Alvarez could absorb punches. Floyd Mayweather won every round.
Right. Size meaning weight, I guess, not height.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. So the size, the mass, and being able to absorb your punches, right? But but again, if you hit anybody clean and precise, I don't care how big you are, right? So let me break it down a little clearer for people that may not understand what I'm trying to tell you. So you can have the mass, right? But your chin is not gaining weight.
Right.
You might be able to absorb my punches if I catch them on the shoulder or catch them on the body because I'm bigger, right?
Right.
But if I clip you, give you another example to go back and give people an example to look at. Shane Mosley was the much smaller guy when it came to Winky Wright.
Yeah.
Right? And remember there was a point in time in the fight, I think it was the second fight, where Winky Wright was laughing at him just catching the punches?
Yep.
Because he was the bigger guy, right?
Yep.
And you remember Shane Mosley feinted and clipped him, bang! And his legs did like this?
Yep.
And then Winky Wright had to get back to being serious.
Right.
Right? Because it had nothing to do with size.
Right. I guess the thought on that is kind of a physics thing where it's going to take, if a piece of mass is bigger, it's going to take a smaller piece of mass won't hurt it as much and crack it or break it as much as a bigger piece of mass, an equal or bigger piece of mass will when it collides. You know what I'm saying?
But we only insert that on specific situations when it's convenient.
Okay, that's true.
Because again, like I said, Deontay Wilder weighed 209 pounds in the first fight against Fury. Fury weighed 273.
Absolutely. Like you could look at, people look at Michael Moore or my boy Jeremy Williams and say, well, they should have been cruiserweights and they couldn't take the heavyweight punch. But then you look at Evander Holyfield, who had one of the best chins in history, who was also a blown up cruiserweight.
Eating them.
Yeah.
Eating Mike Tyson punches, eating Riddick Bowe punches, eating Lennox Lewis. Which one of them knocked out Holyfield?
James Toney.
Exactly. A junior middleweight.
Right.
The heavyweights didn't do it, but a junior middleweight did.
Yeah, there's a lot of intangibles. I think sometimes it does matter, sometimes it doesn't. I think the size, when it comes to range and keeping people at the end of your punches and keeping that distance when somebody's taller, that can be advantageous. But height isn't always a weight thing. You could be tall and skinny.
Right. So this is the thing, right? That people don't. It sounds good to fit the narrative as used as a deflection. Well, he's going to weigh 165. No, he could weigh 165. If he can't take a punch, I don't care how much he weigh.
Right. And to me, it doesn't really matter because if both guys make weight, those are the rules. That's what's happening. Right.
So, for instance, Andre Ward, right, was a durable fighter. He got knocked down early in his career. He got dropped by Kovalev, who's a big puncher.
Mm-hmm.
He got up from the Kovalev punches. Kovalev was clearly bigger than him in the first fight, and he won.
Mm-hmm.
Then in the second fight, he stopped Kovalev to the body.
Mm-hmm.
He clearly was the smaller guy.
Yeah.
So again, like I said, it only counts when it's in defense of somebody's favorite fighter. It don't count in a broad spectrum of the sport of boxing.
Right.
Inoue started his career at 106 pounds?
108, I think, yeah.
108, right?
Yeah.
He just knocked out dudes. Stephen Fulton, who everybody said, how is this dude even making 122? Stephen Fulton is big for 122.
Mm-hmm.
If you see Stephen Fulton next to Shakur Stevenson, they look like they're the same size.
Yeah.
Right? So Stephen Fulton He knocked out Stephen Fulton and Tapales, and he started at 108.
Yeah.
So for him to do it, we say, well, it's because he must be using something. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Terrence
Yeah.
Crawford. Terrence Crawford, another example. Terrence Crawford has knocked out or stopped the last nine opponents he fought. Jose Benavidez is massive. He stopped him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He stopped him.
Yeah.
So here's the problem that I have, that I try to tell people. Just say this. The difference is a great big man versus a great little man.
Okay. So wait.
Compared to a great little man versus an average big man.
So wait. So what do you mean the difference? That's when it matters, the size?
That's when that's when people should say it matters, because his size along with his skill set is what makes the difference.
Agreed.
That's the difference.
Agreed.
Because
And
when it comes to size don't matter. He just knocked out Mario Barrios, who's bigger than Devin Haney.
you're talking about Tank.
Tank.
Yeah. I mean, Tank will, at some point, though, his size, as he moves up, will be a detriment. His height.
It's only a detriment. It's only a detriment if he gonna lack the boxing skills. Because if you can't box, Roberto Duran is not a big guy. Henry Armstrong is not a big guy. They're about the same size.
Yeah, but
Manny
those are
him and Manny Pacquiao is the exact same size.
Right. Those are legends, though. Not everybody could do that.
But if I'm putting him as the face of boxing, I consider you a legend.
No, I agree. I think personally that's when he might run into some problems when he keeps going bigger and bigger. But
right. So we can't. So then there's a box that we have to put him in there. I personally don't put him in the box. That's why I feel like he can go up and do what he wants.
Tank.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
right.
I think Tank is. His limitation is his height, but he don't lack skills. He don't lack boxing ability. He don't lack athletic ability, fast hands, fast feet. He don't lack none of that. He's durable. I ain't never seen Tank hurt.
I think it's harder for him because people always talk about how he's losing a bunch of fights and then he lands that one punch. He has to work harder than most people because of his height, I feel like, to get in, to negate all of those size advantages.
I mean, but that's anybody as they move up in weight.
Yeah, but he's pretty short.
That was the issue Mike Tyson and Vander Holyfield had. They overcame it.
Yeah, I mean, and Tyson had that style that was being short was to his advantage. He was one of the few people.
Joe Frazier as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah, so now think about this, right? Take this into consideration. Tank knocked out Mario Barrios, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Mario Barrios went to welterweight, and two big welterweights that are skilled and one has power, Keith Thurman and It Ugas. I don't remember him hitting the canvas against either one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And Keith Thurman was nailing him.
Mm-hmm.
Tank dropped him 3 times and stopped him in the 11th round. So the only shortcomings we have on Tank is that we always label him because of his height as being too small.
Right. And you don't agree with that then?
No, not at all. I think people around him and the fans are shortchanging him and his abilities.
Yeah.
I think that it takes a special. I keep saying this and I'll say it again. I picked Devin Haney and Shakur to beat him. The reasons why is because they can negate him and stay away from him for 12 rounds.
Yeah.
It takes discipline is a skill. Tank sets traps. Tank is great at putting you in position where he can be successful. If you don't understand what he's doing, you will be in trouble very quickly.
Yep.
And I don't see many fighters out there being able to deal with this of Gervonta Tank Davis, and that's what people miss.
I'm with you. He doesn't get credit for this.
He don't get credit for that because everybody's enamored with his power.
And they think, they don't realize that setting a trap is a skill all on its own.
It's a skill. You see what he did to Hector Garcia? He made him comfortable, made him drop his hands, and knocked him out.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't happen by accident. That happened
Mhm.
because he forced that to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Tank knocked out Mario Barrios. That didn't happen because of it. He closed the gap. You can see as the fight goes on, if you know what you're looking at as you're watching the fight.
mhm.
He inched closer and closer and closer while Floyd was panicking. Tank was getting. If you look at my live stream breakdown for that, I said Barrios is winning, but Tank is getting closer and closer and closer and closer and
Mhm.
closer. That's not an accident.
Mhm.
That's skill set. That's no what's the word? No, how you wherewithal.
Wherewithal, yeah.
Wherewithal, right? He
Yeah.
understands every inch of the square circle.
Yeah.
It's going to take somebody that understands every inch of the square circle with him that can match his chest to beat him and be able to be disciplined enough to stay away and not fall in traps for 12 rounds. Because I think Tank Davis is, I don't see, and I could be wrong, right?
Right.
I don't ever see Tank getting knocked out in his career. I don't see that.
Because of his chin.
For a few things. His durability,
Right.
his chin, his ring IQ, and his slickness. He can use his feet and use angles to get out the way when he wants to, like he did with Isaac Cruz,
Right.
like he did
Also,
my favorite my two favorite fights that Tank have is the Cuellar fight and the Isaac Cruz fight.
also his mental toughness, believe it or not, you probably know that does play a part in having a good chin.
Oh, he a dog.
Yeah.
But the thing about the difference, this is and this is the thing, people. This is why above and beyond, and people think, oh, you just Tank or you just a fan of Devin Haney. I'm a fan of both fighters, and do I have a relationship with Devin and Bill? Absolutely, right? That's not deniable. I'm cool with Kenny and Calvin as well, right? Me
Mhm.
and Tank don't have a relationship, no, but that don't mean I don't see the specialness, and I feel like people are shortchanging his abilities by trying to put limitations on what he can and can't do.
Right.
Gervonta Tank Davis, unlike most fighters, he he uses his ring IQ better than Terrence Crawford.
Really?
Yes, you don't see Gervonta Tank Davis in dog fights that he don't have to be in. You can
Okay.
lure Terrence Crawford into a dogfight. You can't lure Gervonta Tank Davis into a dogfight.
You're right. Terrence lets his ego maybe control him a little more in the ring, and Tank doesn't
1000%.
as much. Yeah.
Earl Spence does. Inoue will do it, right?
Yeah.
There's only two other people that don't do that. Well, three. Dimitri Bivol, Devin, and Shakur.